Monday was Lunar New Year, so I thought I'd dress the traditional dress. So Happy New Year. Chúc mừng năm mới. That's in Vietnamese. You will give me the signal? Okay. So, well, thank you for asking me to tell my story. As I said, my name is Nguyen, and I'm a Catholic. My journey begins in 1910, where my mom's mother, who was a daughter of a wealthy landowner and a high-ranking official. Back in those days, girls were not supposed to be educated, especially Asian girls. So she wanted to go to school. So she would have two servants carry her on a hammock, and another one carry an umbrella to bring her to school every day and bring her back. She know how to read and write, and especially write poetry for boys, which is a big thing back then. So that was the long line of empower women in my family. She had chicken pox when she was 18. And though many men courted her and want to marry her after the chicken pox, her face was full of scar. And the only person that would come and visit her was my grandfather, of course. He was a low, guard, not even a first specialist in her father's house. And he would come and just bring her flowers and sit and listen to her read. So he was not as educated as her. So they ended up married, and they had 13 kids. Good Catholic. My mom was, two of them died at near childbirth, and my mom was one of 6 girls, 5 boys left. My grandfather, because my grandmother was great beauty, he was very jealous. So he kept her home most of the time and cook and tend to the kids. Then with all the girls in the family, he would go and drink with his drinking buddies and marry them off. So my mother was married when she was 15. Some of my aunts were like 14, some were 13. But so my mom and my dad did not know each other before they were married. My dad was 20 when they got married. And because at that age, my mom still did not know the etiquette of how to be a wife, how to be a friend to my dad. My dad had to tell her everything, teach her. When she heard the motorcycle, that when he come home from work, she would run home and act as if she was cleaning the house. 14, 15 years old. So anyway, my dad said, it's okay, stay and chat with your friends. So then from that, she instilled in us, her children, later on the girls, to be educated and to be strong women. In April of 1975, Vietnam fell. The North took over the South, and we were in the South. I was born in Binh Dinh, which is like kind of central of South Vietnam. And when they took over, my dad was in the army. Most of the men in Vietnam were in the army. Either that or you have to have higher education. So he was like probably second grade specialist. His job in the army was to cut hairs. And if he can make, his salary was equivalent to probably $50 here. It's enough to purchase a bag of 100 kilogram of rice a month. Any other expenses, my mom have to do extra work like clean people's house and cook and sell little things like that. We were pretty poor. We lived in a kind of a shotgun house in a barrack. That was my first memory. I was like probably second or third grade. They were bombing from time to time, bullets flying. One of my cousins was playing and a random bullet and just like dropped in her head and she died instantly. So that was, just the norm for me. I did not know any different. Big celebration is the New Year, and any other celebration was the religious holidays. Because of our faith, Christmas was very devout. We would go once a year. We look forward because that's the time that we get a new set of clothes. That's the only time. Like get one set of clothes a year. That's it. It getting shorter and shorter. But anyway, for Christmas, we would go to midnight mass and come home and celebrate with each other over a pot of soup. So those memories were kind of contrast with nowadays. Let me go to when we came to Malaysia. So at the end of April 1975, the communists took over the South, and we were in Bendit then. We ran to Vũng Tàu, Phước Tỉnh, kind of south end of Vietnam. That's where the fishing village, that's where my grandparents live. And we were telling the communists that, we were joining my grandparents so that we would do good for the community. But then, because of our faith, my father was planning to escape. He partnered with his friend and purchased a fishing boat. It's about 30 feet long, and made plan. We left on the 17th of December, 1975. On the third day, it's a stormy season. We didn't know. I mean, my dad didn't know. Most people. Back then, the only thing we knew was the radio, get the news, anything. So by the third day, when we were in the ocean, on the sea, big storm. My dad came out. It was probably about 7 o'clock at night. So he decided to go out and put a blanket up because the engine had died several hours before that. They were bailing out water. So he had on army boots and heavy jacket, and the wave hit and knocked him over, and he fell overboard. And I saw his head. He was swimming, but the wave was carrying him just like instantly, and we lost sight of him. So it was a shock, like for the whole boat, and for us as a family. Of course, we cry and mourn, and my mom was like, start to pray for his soul. We start praying together, and then that night, especially, I remember vividly. She wake all of us up in the middle of the night, and she said, say your contrition prayer. It's the prayer to ask God to forgive your sin, to prepare to die. I was 13 years old, and I was saying the prayer, but then I was thinking to myself, if God let my dad die, if God going to let the whole boat die, he would not take my dad first. So I knew from that moment that I will not die. I knew that. So that conviction and that faith have carried me on to today, the person, what I become and what I do today. So moving on. We floated right into Malaysia on Christmas Day, 25th of December 1975. We were one of like the first 100 refugees that escaped from Vietnam back then. They did not know, what to do with us and stuff like that. So they put us in a camp, a police camp that used to interrogate. So they have bars and stuff like that. And the boat were 25, including my dad. So there are 24 of us. My dad planned it enough that there were families that speak English and French, so that when it come to abroad to another country, they can communicate. For the first probably 3-4 months, we were wearing whatever we had on our back. At night, we just like wash it and then dry it out, and then the next morning. So later on, there was a French missionary who came and said mass for us and brought like extra clothes and food. We were fed like one little bowl of rice and a piece of fish. This is Malaysia, Muslim country. So there was no meat, especially pork. So even at my age, I was still hungry. I was starving. We survived because of the generosity of that priest and the sister who came and brought extra food and clothing and blankets and things like that. So one of the people on the boat, my dad's friend, who all his family were here in the United States, in California. So they asked their sponsor, Mr. and Mrs. Delaney, who sponsored thousands of Vietnamese refugees. So they included us. And every one of us, myself, my mom, calling them mom and dad. Like New Year Day, there are thousands, literally, we lined up to their house and wishing them Happy New Year. We lined up. This is traditionally that you go and wish your elder Happy New Year. And that we did that until they pass away. So we came to California, my mom with 5 kids, 4th grade education, start learning English and working. So we worked during the summer to help her out. I have a twin sister, 3 younger brothers. 2 of my brothers are dentists. My twin works for Oracle, and my other brother, who have 2 master's degrees in something, philosophy or something like that. I have a master's degree in art therapy. When I work with patients and veterans and military family, I tell them that I had PTSD because with those memories, but because of my faith and doing art to see the possibilities. When you paint, when you draw, you don't like it, erase it, do it over, and see all the possibility that you can create. And thank God for this country, for the freedom, for the opportunity that I'm able to do what I can do today. So thank you for listening.